Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. It's Cynicalex, and in this dry desert of pre-Gore, pre-Hulk Tier 4 MFF content, I decided it would be fun to speculate on the next 10 Tier 4s. Now, why am I doing this? Because like I said, dry desert plus fun. But also, this actually serves a pretty important purpose. One, it will prove through my various mistakes that I actually don't in fact work for Netmarble, but also, if I get it right, I give you guys more jokes. Plus, we were right recently about the Fear Itself and Hulk stuff, and this can help you plan, and hopefully I can maybe get a little bit of it right to the point where it kind of shows us and gives us a better sort of macro perspective, like big picture perspective, on where the devs are trying to go with these tier 4s, because there's always a pattern, and that's not like conspiracy theory. There's always a pattern. What I mean is, like, if you look back at tier 3s, you know, Captain America was first, then Iron Man, then Spider-Man, then Thor, and then Ant-Man. They were hitting all the Avengers. They were also hitting a lot of popular characters, right? And then they worked their way into other characters, of course, but the pattern sort of remains the same. If you take a look at the first 4 tier 4s, you know, Iron Man and Thor are both Avengers. Moon Knight is quite popular nowadays, especially with the TV show. Storm is really the only outlier, right? So, and Storm sort of points to the other pattern, which is that we know the devs want to match and focus on the artifact and the instinct, you know, matching between tier 4s. So Storm was chosen because her instinct order matches Thor's. And again, the way that the instincts work, I don't want to explain it too in depth when I'm going character by character in the top 10, but basically, if they are a hero and they're human, it's justice. If they are a hero and they're not human, it's order, and that's just straight up how it is. And then for villains, if they are human villains, I believe that it is, well, let's just check with Dr. Doom. It is cruelty if they're a villain and they're human, and if they're a villain and they're not human, it's destruction. So when they're not human, it basically opens up the door to basically every other group of characters. You have like other, creature, inhumans, mutants, alien, right? You have everything. So there's actually a lot more variety when they're not human in terms of what we can expect, because otherwise they're just human, right? And they're usually part of an Avengers team or whatever, offshoot of Avengers. But yeah, anywho, so we got Iron Man, Moon Knight, Thor, and Storm. Now we're getting Hulk. I was actually surprised by this, but I shouldn't have been. Hulk's instinct didn't change when he became a villain. He's still using the justice instinct. And given their pattern of going blast, combat, universal, blast, combat, universal, well, they haven't done the 6th universal yet, but that's what I'm guessing they're going to do. So that is my guess for number 10. Obviously, Hulk is number 11, so my guess is that number 10 is going to have to be a universal human hero. Now, when you filter out for those types, there's actually a really short list. There's 7 characters from Jane Foster, who very recently got the tier 3, so she's basically out of the picture. Then we have Sentry, who's way too expensive. Blue Marvel, who's not popular at all. Robbie Reyes, like Jane Foster, just got it. Quasar, not popular at all. And then Shadow Shell, who is not popular, obviously as like a very recently created character, can't be that popular, but also is a bit of an outlier. I can't really say at any point in time, because at any point in time, the devs could decide to upgrade all of the original characters, right? Which is Sharon Rogers, Luna Snow, Crescent, and then the 4 Warriors of the Sky. However, that does leave one option. So I do think that after Hulk, Ghost Rider is the next tier 4. It also kind of makes sense because Hulk got his tier 3 in 2020 in June, and then a couple months later in September 2020, we got Ghost Rider tier 3. So I think the devs want to sort of recapture some of that hype from 2020 again in 2022. And I think Ghost Rider would be an amazing option for tier 4, especially because with the new tier 4 system, this makes so much sense the more that I think about it. With the new tier 4 system, you can apply a tier 4 striker, and certain tier 4 strikers will give you heal, right? Will give you a heal. And so because of that, you have characters who can heal you and basically compensate for low defenses like old Groot uniforms or Venom. And so you could have those tier 4 strikers with Ghost Rider, and he could finally have a heal. How crazy is that for number 10? Okay, I've got your attention now. This seems like a cool video. All right, let's go a little bit faster now. So after that, I do think that they're still going to want to focus on the Avengers. That's sort of my theory. And they're going to want to focus on popular characters. So even though she got a uniform recently, I do think that Black Widow is going to be the next tier 4 and the first speed tier 4. Now, I could be wrong about the organization. I'm guessing that Black Widow is going to be next, and then right after that, 2 weeks later, again, this is in September because Ghost Rider and Hulk are going to be in August, we're going to get Luna Snow. We might get Luna Snow first and then get Black Widow second, but I think they're going to go back to back with the first 2 speed types to really put pressure on the whales who are trying to stock up on the Vishanti books and so that sort of thing. So they're going to want to, you know, really milk the whales on those books there. And so I think they're going to go back to back with the speed types. And so Black Widow and Luna really line up with all of the things they're trying to do. They're popular characters, they match the typing, and they also have matching instincts, which are justice. However, once we exit that, I still think they're just going to keep focusing on really popular characters. Again, I could be wrong about this, but the theory that they were going to cycle through all of the typings, you know, blast, combat, speed, universal, or universal speed, that was wrong, right? Because they skipped speed and they're doing a second round of the first 3. Then we thought, okay, they're definitely going to go and go through all the different instincts. So we're going to get justice, then we're going to get order, which was true, and then we're going to get destruction and cruelty. We didn't get destruction and cruelty. We're going back to justice with Hulk. So I think they're going to continue that idea. So I think after Luna Snow, they're going to be like, hey, you liked one OC? Let's do another OC. And they're going to drop Sharon Rogers as the 7th tier. Well, the 7th. It's not actually the 7th at this point. But anyways, number 7 on the next 10 tier 4s. And I think who's a better follow-up to Sharon Rogers than Captain America? Now, it would be Captain America as a combat type, of course, even though I have his blast uniform because his base typing is combat. So after the 2 speeds, we're going, you know, at 9 and 8. Then we're going to get Sharon at 7 as a blast. And then we're going to get Cap, her dad, as a combat at 6. I think that just makes sense really well thematically. And it also matches the instincts. And it also cycles through the typings. At that point, we actually find ourselves at the end of October. So going into November, it's pretty much a shoe-in. I would be shocked if we didn't get the following 2 combat types as tier 4s. Now, I could be wrong about this. They may want to delay this update into December or something. I'm not sure. Maybe January, because we don't really have a full update in December. But I'm guessing that the next tier 4s at number 5 and number 4 are going to be Black Panther, who's a combat type, and Justice. And then they're going to break tradition and they're going to drop Namor, who is a combat type but is not Justice. He's actually Order because he is not human. So I think that's what they're going to do. Again, Black Panther, it's for the movie, of course, and no one else in the Black Panther lineup, right, like Shuri or anyone else, has a tier 3 anyways. So there are no other options besides Black Panther himself. You know, he is obviously a big focus as a tribute to the movie. So I think it would be a huge miss if the devs do not give him a huge upgrade and a massive tier 4 boost. And then for Namor, he is, you know, seems to be the antagonist of the movie. It would be a huge miss again if they didn't give him a uniform and then of course give him his tier 4. So the rest of the year is actually looking pretty bright for combats at this point, even if you don't think that Captain America is getting one, because we're almost guaranteed to be getting Namor, Black Panther, and now Hulk, which is pretty crazy. But that actually only leaves us with 3 more characters, the top 3 to round out the year of tier 4s. So I think they're going to keep the instinct the same from Namor as an order, and they're going to cycle back to speed and finally give us Rogue tier 4 as a speed order instinct character. And then I think they're going to finally, after whatever 13 tier 4s that are all heroes, they're going to be like, all right, you've had enough heroes. I think it's going to take this long. They're going to be like, okay, now let's give you a few villains. And then they're going to go over to destruction first, in my opinion, because that's where some of the cheaper, more popular villains are. And they're going to give us here, I think they're going to start off with Loki, one of the most popular villains in the game, one of the most, you know, built characters. Like, so many players have him, so they're going to want to go with a character that is very popular and has a very high obtainment rate and like adoption rate. And then they have to go with another villain who is also destruction. So I think in that case, they're probably going to go with Mystique, who's a bit more expensive. And now we start to introduce like the Crystal Wall and the Paywall type of characters, etc., etc. Maybe we see like a Christmas uniform for Mystique or something like that. I'm not 100% sure. This I should have thought about a little bit more, because if I could choose a better option for a Christmas type uniform, I think I could find one. But honestly, the list of villains that are both popular and you know, need a buff in the game and are available and aren't native tier 2, it's pretty slim, right? Like it's pretty slim. I mean, obviously you could go with someone like Mephisto, you could go with someone like Doctor Doom or Thanos even, but Doctor Doom got a uniform a year ago, Thanos got a uniform this year, and they're all super expensive. There are very few villains who are not, you know, insanely high cost and are also popular. Like, again, Hela got a uniform a year ago. Carnage is probably the only other option, but for some reason I don't see them doing Carnage. He's not that popular in my opinion, and then it also sets them up to have to do another human villain, which then really cuts the popularity list. Like, I'm not going to make the joke that you all want me to make. I know you want me to make it, but I don't want to. Who's popular in this list? Who has, you know, Captain America's not actually on this list because he's not actually a villain. You know, right? Who's popular? Mr. Fantastic's also not a villain, by the way, so get him off the list, right? And which one of these characters is popular enough? Maybe Moonstone gets a Christmas uniform, maybe, right? So it does get pretty dicey when you try to include and you try to match up all of these things. So it sort of leads me to realize that the devs actually have a pretty difficult job ahead of them in order to choose and really make good decisions, meaningful upgrades to the roster. You know, I always say that we should focus on characters who haven't been meta for a long time or who have never been meta. I always love that idea. But the problem with tier 4, or sort of the challenge, is that they already need to be tier 3 or transcended. So I guess that means we need more tier 3s and transcendences. That sort of comes back to the point of people saying we should have waited to get tier 4s after everyone was tier 3 and transcended, because then you could suggest other characters like Sin or Scream or Darkhawk or Nimrod, Sentinel, and, you know, all these other characters that you otherwise can't mention at all and can't even consider because they don't qualify. Oh, hey, it's Green Goblin. What a coincidence that we landed on a character who everyone wants tier 3. Yeah, maybe we'll see a surprise tier 3 into tier 4. Who knows how much they want to milk the whales. I honestly think that would be a cool experiment with someone like Green Goblin, given how popular he is. It's not something that I would like to see them do a lot, just to be clear. It's a good idea for a one-off. It's not something I want to see them do a lot, because that puts a ton of pressure on your resources. It depletes your books, and it's really gonna squeeze the whales. So yeah, I had a lot of fun making this video. Hit me up in the comments down below. Let me know what you think. Thank you so much for watching. Smash the like button, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.